It started with a vibration in the dark, the phone's blue light cutting through the stillness like a knife. Daniel's hand froze mid-reach, his pulse tightening as the air grew heavy, dense, like even the walls were listening. On the screen glowed a name that shouldn't have appeared at 2:17 a.m. Elliot, work. His wife's business partner. Why was he texting her now? A sour wave rolled through his gut as his eyes shifted toward Claire. Her shape lay soft beneath the sheets, breath slow but not deep enough to convince him she was sleeping. The notification faded, but its echo stayed, pressing against his chest like the band of gold circling his finger. Daniel sank back onto the mattress, it groaned under the movement. The faint smell of her lavender lotion hung in the air, once soothing, now suspicious, like it was hiding something foul beneath the sweetness. Moonlight slipped through the blinds, outlining every tiny crack in the ceiling. It's just work, he told himself. Claire and Elliot were buried in a billion-dollar real estate deal, one that could make their firm untouchable. Late-night texts weren't unusual in their ruthless world of contracts and power plays. But something about this time, this hour, gnawed at him, splinter deep. He shut his eyes, praying sleep would wash away the unease, but his mind kept replaying the past few weeks, her late nights, distracted smiles, laughter that sounded practiced instead of real. Morning sliced in too soon, sunlight glaring off the marble counters. Claire stood by the coffee maker, silk robe sliding off one shoulder, auburn hair glowing like fire. "You're up early," she said, her tone light, testing the air between them. Daniel poured cereal, each clink of the spoon louder than it should have been. "Couldn't sleep," he muttered, eyes flicking to her phone on the counter, face down, silent, but screaming in his mind. "Everything okay?" she asked, meeting his gaze for a heartbeat before looking away. Steam hissed from the coffee machine, echoing the tension humming between them. He wanted to ask about the text. The words clawed up his throat but died there, crushed by fear of what she might say. Instead, he lied. "Just stressed. Work's been brutal." It tasted like rust, but it was safer than truth. The day crawled by, each hour dragging behind it a trail of doubt. At his office, Daniel stared at his screen, thoughts blurred by memories of Claire and Elliot, the hand Elliot had rested too long on her arm at the gala, the private smiles during meetings Daniel once chalked up to professionalism. Now they looked like clues, sharp-edged fragments of something darker. He opened his email, half hoping for a confession, but found only schedules and updates. Still, suspicion grew, a slow-spreading shadow he couldn't outrun. By nightfall, she was late again. The clock ticked past 8. The living room glowed dimly with TV light Daniel wasn't watching. He scrolled through Claire's social media, something he hadn't done in years. Her posts were perfect. Sharp smiles beside Elliot at events, captions all business. Then one photo stopped him cold, Claire laughing, head tilted toward Elliot, his eyes fixed on her like she was the only one in the room. The timestamp, the same night she'd sworn she was working late. His chest tightened, air thinning like smoke. When the door finally opened, her heels clicked across the floor, each step rehearsed. She looked worn out but radiant, cheeks flushed, eyes a little too bright. "Sorry," she breathed, dropping her bag. "Elliot needed me to go over some contracts." Her tone was smooth, trained, but her eyes dodged his. Daniel's pulse hammered, suspicion pounding in rhythm. "At this hour?" he asked, voice sharper than intended. She froze, only for a moment, then shrugged. "You know how it is. The deal's hanging by a thread." He wanted to believe her. God, he wanted to. But the lie was there, in her twitching fingers, in how carefully she poured her wine, avoiding his eyes. "What's going on between you and Elliot?" The words broke out raw, unfiltered, hanging heavy in the air. Claire's glass stopped midair. "What?" she said, laughing, brittle, hollow. "He's my partner, Dan. We work together. That's it." But that wasn't it. The truth surfaced piece by piece, cutting him open with every find, a bar receipt from a hotel she'd never mentioned. A whispered phone call that went silent when he walked in. The way she flinched from his touch, like it burned. Daniel's anger simmered, tangled with heartbreak sharp enough to steal his breath. He loved her. Loved her off-key humming in the shower. Loved her impossible dreams. But love couldn't drown the questions clawing at him. He started digging, hating himself for it, but he couldn't stop. Through their shared laptop, he accessed her work email. His hands trembled as he typed her password, their wedding date. Buried under a thread marked "Deal Updates," the truth waited. Emails, professional at first, then dripping with intimacy. "Meet me tonight. Same place. Miss you already?" Each line a blade, slicing away the world he thought he lived in. The breaking point came at a charity gala, city lights blazing through glass walls. Claire stood across the room, stunning in black, laughter echoing as Elliot leaned in to whisper something. Daniel watched from a distance, champagne sweating in his hand, heart splitting between rage and grief. He could have confronted her then, shattered everything in public. But he didn't. Instead, he made a quiet call. He knew the investor holding Elliot's billion-dollar deal together, a man Daniel had his own connections with. Over whiskey and low words, he planted a seed of doubt. Not about the affair, but about Elliot's integrity. A leaked email. A rumor of funds mishandled. It was enough. The investor pulled out, and the deal collapsed like glass shattering on marble. Elliot's empire fell. Claire's ambitions burned with it. That night, she came home hollow-eyed, face pale, mask cracked. "It's over," she whispered. "The deal's dead." Daniel looked at her, the woman he'd built his life around, and felt only the ache of betrayal. "I know," he said, voice steady though everything inside him broke. Her eyes widened, guilt flashing through them. She didn't deny it. She didn't need to. The silence confessed everything. Daniel walked out. The door clicked shut behind him, final as a gavel. He didn't look back. But the echo of her betrayal followed him, soft at first, then louder, until it became the only thing left in the room.